Hi, and congratulations on completing week 5, Understanding Hebrew Poetry. Now, I wanted to go through the assignments this week. I think as a whole, the class again did very well. This class has performed great, and I really appreciate all the hard work that you're putting into the assignments. Our goals this week were to analyze parallel structures within Hebrew poetry. And add lesson objectives here. I did that again. So we're to analyze parallel structures within Hebrew poetry. And we did that in our first assignment where you're analyzing parallel structures. Secondly, to apply the interpretive methods utilized in the evaluation of poetry. And we did that in our discussion post and also in our assignment 5.2. And then finally, to evaluate different psalm categories, identifying elements of each type. And we did that in assignment 5.2. So for assignment 5.1, it was parallelism in a worksheet exploring Psalm 22, and you were to explain your decisions. Now, I wanted you to really engage with these, and I did not really grade strictly on whether you said synonymous or synthetic, but gave a little bit of leeway. However, I did grade strictly based upon how you justified your answer. And I wanted to be sure that students engaged with the reading, bringing in some support as well. Then finally, I wanted a conclusion where you looked at how this psalm is used in the New Testament and in the words of Jesus, and what that means hermeneutically to the understanding of these words coming out of Jesus' mouth. You should also identify 6 instances of figurative language and 2 instances of inter-psalm connections where this psalm is used in other places. Now here's an example of a student worksheet. That's not perfect, but it's more of what I was looking for. I'll just look at the top one. If we look at Psalm 22, verse 21 in the ESV, it says, "Save me from the mouth of the lion. You have rescued me from the horns of the wild oxen." So here we have multiple synonymous parallelistic ideas. Save me from the mouth of the lion. You have rescued me from the horns of the wild oxen. So a lion and an oxen are used synonymously as wild animals that can cause humans problems. What part of the lion? It's the mouth. What part of the wild oxen? It's the horns. So we're not only drawing attention to a wild animal, but we're being drawn, or attention is being drawn to what is the ferocious side of that animal that can cause us harm, highlighting that we are in peril. Then save and rescued are also used in parallel as synonymous because because we're being saved and rescued. And then since synthetic, you could have said something where the second line not only is in parallel to the first, but then adds new information. For our part of the psalm that we looked at parallel structures, but I am a worm and not a man as a metaphor. My mouth is dried up, like being our key here. A potsherd simile, or all the ends of the earth hyperbole. And I wanted you to be able to spend some time really unpacking why it's a metaphor, why it's a simile, why it's a hyperbole, and then even a reflective comment on how that use impacts us as readers of these psalms. Now for assignment 5.2, I wanted you to complete the provided worksheet, classify each psalm type, and outline the elements supporting your classification. Add a conclusion summarizing your findings. Now, I did count off if you did not include a conclusion. I did not count off on which version of the worksheet you utilized. For those who are watching their announcements, you saw that I uploaded a revised worksheet, as the worksheet that was included with the template was old, had a duplicate for one of the Psalms. I think it was Psalm 23. It may have been Psalm 22, but one of the Psalms was duplicated. There was a corrected worksheet and then also a reminder to be sure to put your conclusion. But regardless of which one you use, because in the intro video I referenced be sure to have a conclusion, I did count off several points if you didn't include one. But in the conclusion, I'm looking for engagement with the reading. I'm looking for personal reflection. How does understanding psalm classification help you to understand the psalm better? If we understand that there were rules by which someone wrote a psalm, does it help us to translate the psalm into our own lives or understand the meaning better? So Psalm 23 could be classified as a psalm of trust. David has plenty of hard times, although in the passage he doesn't dwell there, but rather briefly mentions them. He knows darkness focuses on the Lord's light and goodness. And we could also say that there is a polar opposite idea to show us the distinction between God's light and the world's darkness. He trusts that despite the evil of this world, the Lord will be with him through, though may not rescue him in a physical sense. And you could have included what one of our authors or done some outside research here and also include that. That would have been nice. Psalm 8, Psalm of Praise. Why? Psalm 18 or 118 is Thanksgiving. And here it shows different components of that psalm and why we have proclamations, we have reconciliation, we have praise, we have trust, and we have thanks, all part of a Thanksgiving psalm. And I think that this student did a nice job on their assignment. And then finally, you were to evaluate a modern psalm, being a contemporary worship song. So in many ways, contemporary Christian worship songs are examples of modern psalms. How do you think the lyrics of the song you chose resemble a psalm? And so I wanted you to pick a song that was meaningful to you and then classify it as to a genre, or come up with what types of parallelism are found in this modern worship song, and then to discuss it. As always in our discussion posts, I'm looking for engagement with the reading, giving you some evidence for support, and then finally some personal reflection. Why did you choose this song? How is it meaningful to you? Or how does understanding parallelism bring a new awareness to a modern contemporary worship? So those were the types of things I was looking for this week. I think people did a good job. I am seeing that discussion posts are beginning to dwindle. And I want to encourage you to stay engaged in discussion over the weekends. I know that we all have a lot going on, and yet this is part of our experience in the class as a shared unit where we can talk to one another, and I would encourage you to stay active on that. So finally, good luck on week 6. Thanks for all your work on week 5. We're actually nearing the end of the course. We just have 3 more weeks to go. So please stay the course and buckle down because the end is coming soon. That sounds a little ominous, but so is spring. We'll stay with that. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.